Okay, select stream, refresh, tick the one out there. There you go. Excellent. Excelente. All right. Here we go yet again. Hello, and yet again, good morning. Welcome to yet another episode of Red Stone Lapis Lazuli. It is I, your host, Pogo Kiddo. Yeah. Things are wild. Let's see. Get back to the game. Oh wait, no. Before I get back to the game, you gotta see the game I'm getting back to. I am still playing Minecraft. Oh wait, my frames per second are up there. Look how low they are right now. 62, 61, 56. My God, right? Barely. My rig is barely keeping up. Options. Because I'm running OBS and the game on the same thing. And not just the game. I'm running. Let's see, video settings, extras. Show FPS. I'm not only running the game, I'm also running the shaders, rethinking voxels. This is like alpha 6 or something, beta 6. And yeah, it's significantly heavier than I wouldn't say significant, but it's heavier. It's heavier than beta 5, which means like it takes more resources for it to run, so you need a stronger machine, bigger video card, whatever. So I have reduced the resolution. Like I had been using AMD's super resolution DD to run from play it at 180p and then upscale it to 1440p. But these shaders are so heavy that I had to lower my resolution even further to 990p, which is like weird, right? But like, you know, essentially I'm just doing what NVIDIA does. NVIDIA does the same thing. It plays the game at half resolution, and then uses AI to blow it up. With a lot of well, when I played it, it was back with the 3070. There was a lot of ghosting, and it wasn't really that great. I mean, it kind of was. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. RTX Bedrock is pretty nice. Like, the reflections are really, really good. You have reflections everywhere. And you can't get that on an AMD card. But then again, I couldn't get super resolution. I couldn't get this to work on an NVIDIA card anyways, because this is an OpenGL game. This is on Java. So if you don't play in the proprietary playground, you don't get to use the toys. So, I don't know. Anyways, rethinking voxels. I really like this update. Yes, it's heavier. But I mean, it seems like it's dealt with the flickering shadows issue. Shadows don't flicker as much. Yeah, it's heavier. It's certainly heavier. But again, yeah, the flickering shadows is no more, and I dig it. I was kind of annoyed by all the flickering shadows before, because when the shadows flicker, it doesn't feel like the light is like doing anything. But now, the flickering shadows issue seems to be gone for the most part. There's still incidences of it, but it's a lot less pronounced. Yeah, see how much nicer that it is? You can look at my old videos. I mean, it's the same place I go to. But the problem is, back then, all sorts of shadows would flicker back and forth, in and out. And it doesn't do that anymore. And then so if it doesn't do it, it gives us the place. It gives the place a bigger, a stronger sense of realism, of being there. You know? I mean, I don't know. Then when you have glitches all over the place, like with shadows. I mean, it still happens, yeah, sure, but a lot less. Of course, you pay for it, right? I pay for it. This is a lot heavier. I'm thinking, like, I might have to upgrade my system after 8 years. I've used this system for 8 years. I'm on a B450 motherboard. I mean, it doesn't mean anything to anybody except for like computer nerds, but it's like an ancient. Like, I bought my motherboard back in 2018, and it's 2025, and I'm still using it. But, oh man, that gets to a whole bunch of other stuff, because if I'm gonna buy a computer, like, oops, oh well, that possibility is gone, because Donald Trump is gonna impose tariffs and make importing anything cost more money. So we are screwed, United States. We are screwed. I mean, I told you, right? I told you. What am I gonna, like? I told them. I don't know. Who am I telling? Like, nobody. Nobody wants. See, that gets to the other thing. That gets to the other thing. Look at these shadows. Look at these shadows. Aren't these shadows great? My God. There's the problem with the United States is that there's no room to talk about these things with your fellow human being. Like, it might have been a thing you could do back in the day, in like in the 90s, before cell phones, before really the internet. When you would go to a coffee shop, and like there weren't phones to distract you. You know, if you're in a coffee shop, you're drinking coffee, reading a book, working on like some art, or talking with people about like things you wouldn't normally talk about outside of that space, the coffee shop. Because what goes on outside the space of the coffee shop? Life, other stuff. And there's no room to talk about politics when you're in the middle of other stuff. Like, you can't talk about it at work. You can't talk about it at church. I mean, maybe you could. You can't talk about it with your neighbors. You just can't talk about it. There's just nowhere to talk about it. Right? Maybe your family. Maybe, but not really. Like, because yeah, we're gonna descend into fascism. It sucks, and like I've been warning about it for 8 years, right? So it's not like I can whatever. Like, I tried to stop it. I physically went out holding a sign, like with the truth written on it, and I got attacked for it in multiple ways. So no, you can't. You cannot. You cannot talk to people about it. That's why people are in their information silos. Like, it's not like I'm just making this up. I can point to like stories and people I know. So I have anecdotal evidence. But I feel like the anecdotal evidence is probably resonating with a lot of people. Because they can relate. So for example, like, I work from home, so I'm always at home. Even if I weren't at home, I'm not able to, like, when I was in the office, I wasn't able to talk to anyone at my office about what was going on, except this one woman. And I think it's because she was romantically inclined toward me. Yeah, But she listened to me like rant on like at lunchtime of when we'd go for a walk around the parking lot, because I know that's all you can really do is walk around the parking lot. So I walk around a parking lot and describe for her like all the shit going on like during the Trump years, like every day. It was just because I feel like I was going insane that I could see these things and that nobody would do anything, like the Helsinki when Donald Trump had sided with Russia against the United States at Helsinki. I thought for sure that would alert everyone to the fact that Donald Trump is a traitor. I thought for sure that would do it. I thought for sure. And when it didn't happen, I was like losing my mind. I'm like, am I the only one? Like, like here, let me pull that up because it's, what am I referencing? No, not that one. Well, maybe that one. I don't know. I don't know anymore. You know what? Here, the better way. How long was that one? That one's...
Distinguished Mr. President.
Hold on. Do you remember this? Helsinki, 2018. Against all his advisors, Donald Trump met one-on-one with Vladimir Putin for 2 hours in Helsinki. Just him and his interpreter and Vladimir Putin. That's it. And the interpreter, he took the interpreter's notes after the interview and destroyed them. So we have no idea what these two talked about behind closed doors. We have no idea what happened. But when he came out, when these two came out of the meeting to the press conference, Donald Trump was visibly shaken. He looked very, very, very weak. He looked exhausted. He looked like a little boy who got put in his place. And then during the press conference, a reporter asked him, well, like, your own intelligence agency says Russia attacked the United States during the 2016 election. Who do you believe? Do you believe your own government, your own people? Or do you believe the enemy of our country? Who do you believe, Donald Trump? And Donald Trump tried to dodge, tried to evade. You know the Matrix, you know how the agents do the Matrix dodge? It looks like they just go, you shoot a gun at them, and they just like, and then come back together. That's what Donald Trump does. No, you ask him a question, he goes, and just splits into little pieces of nothing, and then reassembles. It's the funniest thing to watch. Like, that's why I think the movie The Matrix is like fantastic. It's so, you could use it for so many things. Anyways, listen, it's not me, right? Listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, negotiations with the President
Oh wait, no,
of the
this is the
United
whole
States.
thing. This is like the hour-long one, and it's only in one ear, so that kind of sucks. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? I am gonna use this. Ha ha ha. Don't. Here, Trump Putin. No, that's the headline of it. Where's the video of it? Man, I have to find it. It's not the archive, it's the local. Dude, my computer gets on. So since I'm using this resolution shrinker, it kind of messes up my desktop. Donald Trump sides with, yeah.
For each president, President Trump, yes. You first. Just now, President Putin denied having anything to do with the election interference in 2016. Every U.S. intelligence agency has concluded that Russia did. My first question for you, sir.
Hold on, I need, it's only playing in one ear. I need to like play it in mono. Output. Man, I don't know how to do it. I have no idea how to play this in playback rate, playback. Video track, audio track, options. I don't know how to do it. It's only playing in one ear. Normalize? What if you do? What happens?
You believe. My second question is, would you now, for each president, President Trump, yes. You first. Just now, President Putin denied having anything to do with the election interference in 2016. Every U.S. intelligence agency has concluded that Russia did. My first question for you, sir, is, who do you believe? My second question is, would you now, with the whole world watching, tell President Putin, would you denounce what happened in 2016, and would you warn him to never do it again?
So he only, for some reason, it only plays in one ear, and I can't fix it right now. Like, I thought I made one that I thought I made a version of this where it played in mono, and so it played in both sides, and you could actually hear it. Options. Downsample, no. I normalized, but like that's not what I need. I need it to like play in mono. What if I play in VCL, like VLC?
For each president, President Trump, yes. You first. Just now, President Putin denied having anything to do with the election interference in 2016. Every U.S. intelligence agency has concluded that Russia did. My first question for you, sir, is, who do you believe? My second question is, would you now, with the whole world watching, tell President Putin, would you denounce what happened in 2016, and would you warn him to never do it again?
So let me just say that we have...
Hold on. See it? Damn it, dude, that sucks.
For each president, President Trump,
when did this happen?
First.
I had it fixed.
Just now, President Putin denied having anything to do with the election interference in 2016. Every U.S. intelligence agency has concluded that Russia did. My first question for you, sir, is, who do you believe? My second question is, would you now, with the whole world watching, tell President Putin, would you denounce what happened in 2016, and would you warn him to never do it again?
So let me just say that we have two thoughts. You have groups that are wondering why the FBI...
So Donald Trump was asked, do you believe the Americans, your own government, with regards to the Russian attack in 2016 elections? And would you warn the guy never to do it again? So you gotta watch out, right? Because Donald Trump is real slippery. So the question was, do you believe Russia or do you believe the United States? So do you believe Russia or do you believe the United States?
I never took the server. Why?
So the server is, I don't believe the Americans so far because he's bullshitting right now.
Never took the server. Why haven't they taken? Say that we have two thoughts. You have groups that are wondering why the FBI never took the server.
So two thoughts. So he says, do you believe the Americans or do you believe Russia? And he says, well, in regards to do I believe America or do I believe Russia, there's two thoughts. One thought is FBI servers. What does that have to do with do you believe America or do you believe Russia? Nothing. He's dodging.
Why haven't they taken the server? Why was the FBI told to leave the office of the Democratic National Committee?
He's bullshitting. He's lying. He's just bullshitting, right? So, in other words, none of this has anything to do with do you believe Russia or do you believe the Americans? So far, none of it has to do with it. He's making shit up about the FBI and making shit up about the Democrats.
Wondering that. I've been asking that for months and months, and I've been tweeting it out. And
so, he took the question, do you believe Russia or do you believe the Americans? And he replaced the question with his own question. What's his own question? What is the question that Donald Trump wants to replace?
Calling it out on social media. Where is the server?
So he replaced the question, do you believe the Americans or do you believe the Russians? And Donald Trump replaced the question and said, where are the servers? In other words,
No, where is the server and what is the server saying?
So he replaced the question. The question was, do you believe the Americans or do you believe the Russians? And he replaced the question. And he said, no. The real question is, where is the server and what is it saying?
With that being said, all I can do is ask the question. My people came to me, Dan Coates.
So all he can do is say, is replace the question, do I believe the Americans or do I believe Russia? And I keep saying, servers. What? What does that have to do with Americans or Russians?
People came to me, Dan Coates.
So, listen, my people came to me. Dan Coates was the director of national intelligence.
Saying, with that being said, all I can do is ask the question. My people came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be.
So, Dan Coates, director of national intelligence, and his people came to him and said, we think Russia, and we have evidence, we have proof that Russia interfered in the 2016 elections. And then Vladimir Putin said, no, we didn't. And Donald Trump says, well, I don't see why it would be Russia. So he's siding with Russia against the United States. I thought right there would be the end. That would be the end. That would be the end of Donald Trump. If Joe Biden got on stage and said, I actually side with Israel more than the United States, he would lose the presidency. So, but Donald Trump says he believes the Russians and he doesn't believe the Americans. Why would Donald Trump say he believes the Russians and doesn't believe the Americans? Because if he did believe the Russians, or if he did believe the Americans, said, yeah, the Americans are right. Russia did interfere in the 2016 elections to get me elected. So I'm not a legitimate president. That's what he would be admitting. He can never admit it. So it's just logical. It's logical that he would side with Russia against the United States. It's just logical. Like like Russia helped Donald Trump get the presidency. That's why Donald Trump sided with Russia against the United States. And yet people voted for him. Oh man, this is all messed up. So I just gotta go clicking. Gotta go clicking. Click, click, clicking. I don't know what I'm looking for. Going, clicking. Going, clicking. There it is. So when you look at the people in the United States, it's really split between Harris voters and Trump voters. They each have about a little less than a third, each of them, 31%. Right. The biggest group is the non-voter, the people who didn't vote. Now, some of these people may be not voting because of voter suppression, but a lot of them are not voting because they don't care. They're apathetic. They don't care. They just don't care. So I can say, you can ask me, Pogokiro, how can Donald Trump get on world stage and side with the enemy of the United States against the American people and then win the presidency? Well, again, also try to overthrow the government. How can this guy try to overthrow the government and then win the next presidency? And the answer is because over half the people in the United States are stupid. I mean, if you take 31% and you add 38%, like that's more than half. Like you have to be stupid to vote for Donald Trump. I mean, there's no other way around it. Right? You just saw Donald Trump side with the Russians against the Americans. And then later on he would go on to try to overthrow the government in a violent coup. So if you still vote for him after that, you're either a Nazi or you're stupid. Okay, then you have the people who didn't vote. Now, I don't know all the people who didn't vote, but I have family, right? And I can talk about my family. My niece, in her 20s, she's a girl. So, you know, the fact that Republicans are trying to outlaw abortions is salient to her. She's in her 20s. It's a salient issue to her. She didn't vote. She refused to vote. You could try to talk to her about it, but her eyes would glaze over and she would stop listening to you, and then she wouldn't hang out with you anymore. Like, not that I would do it, but like I tried once. Right? I tried. When I went down to my mom's house, and her and her boyfriend came by, and I tried to impress upon them the importance of voting, and they would not do it. They would not do it. But her boyfriend told me that her cop mom was going to vote for Donald Trump. You know, Donald Trump, the guy who pardoned all the January 6th insurrectionists who like attacked and killed cops. She voted for him because cops are the enemy if they're not serving white supremacy, according to Trump voters, Republicans, white supremacists. If a cop isn't supporting white supremacy, then they're on the wrong team. Like, and you can see this played out all the time. In Texas during the Black Lives Matter protests, a white supremacist looked for a march, a Black Lives Matter march. He looked for one. He looked for, and he on purpose, because he had the idea of killing someone. So he put a gun in his car and he drove around until he found a group that was marching in the street, and he used his car to drive through the group, try to hit the people in the parade with his car. And when they started like freaking out, he got out and he killed a white guy. So you would think, oh man, that's crazy. You know, holy shit, how dare you kill a white person? So he went to prison for killing someone, for murder, right? I mean, you go to prison for murder. Well, Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, understood that this guy committed murder in the name of white supremacy. So Greg Abbott pardoned that guy and let him out of prison, the murderer. Why? Because his murder was done in the name of white supremacy. Therefore, he's allowed to kill that white person who was on the side of Black Lives Matter. He forfeited his white privilege by marching with black people against white supremacy. So it's okay. It was okay for a white supremacist to kill him. Same thing with cops. Cops are good guys according to white supremacists. Cops are good guys as long as they serve and enforce white supremacy. Whenever they don't serve white supremacy, whenever they're not serving white supremacy, that's when they become the enemy. So that's why it's okay Donald Trump pardoned all the January 6th insurrectionists, because they may have killed cops, but those cops were not serving white supremacy. So their lives were forfeit. And that's why that's the message. And cops love it, dude. They all vote for him. A big chunk of cops voted for Donald Trump. They agree. They said, yes, if we are not serving white supremacy, our lives are forfeit. Yeah, I'm a little angry. I mean, but what am I going to do, right? The majority of them, the majority of Americans are stupid? Really? Man. I can't even talk to them. There's no room. Like I said, there's no room. How much social interaction do you think we have with one another? So yeah, it's blatantly obvious that Donald Trump is evil. And the only way I could see how Americans could vote for him and give him power is if they're just incredibly stupid. The majority of them are stupid. I mean, yeah, there's a big chunk that are not stupid. So I feel bad for them. I feel bad for the people who are not stupid in the United States. I'm in there, right? I feel bad for me. Okay. So, we all remember Elon Musk throwing the Nazi sign, right? Where's it at? Ah, shit. See, this is all messed up. Because I can't just be like, oh, what happened last week? Because it's not there, it's somewhere else. So, what would he, 127? Something like that? You think I'd have, this... Desktop. Here we go, I'll do it like that. This is so slow, no one cares, no one's gonna watch this.
can't happen. Thank you.
So we all saw that, right? Oh wait, he's gonna do it again. So we all know that the Republican Party is the Nazi Party, right? Everyone knows that? Well, we all know that, but a lot of Americans don't because they're stupid. I don't know if they're stupid or if they're in denial, but that's an example of normalization. Remember how Yuri Bezmenov would warn you about how they demoralize a nation? Well, part of that was normalization. You have to normalize the evil. So, and it's not just an abstract thing, because they're actually doing it. Go back here. So now it's being copied, right? Watch this guy. I don't want to hear anything he's saying. This is the last stand for Christendom. I don't hear nothing you saying, right? Because that's not what I'm interested in. Your words are meaningless. Because watch. All right. His words are meaningless. So right now he's speaking at an anti-choice rally. None of these people believe women have rights. They all believe that the woman is property of the man, and the man can make rules for the women. So check him out, watch, bam. What do you think that is? That's another Nazi salute. He did a Nazi salute. Homie did a Nazi salute. Right? Elon Musk. You want to hear him? Here, he even mentions it. It's not even a thing. Like,
down to you guys. So God bless all of you for what you're doing. Please keep doing it. I hope that I can encourage you, and my heart goes out to you.
You see how he tries to introduce plausible deniability? He says, "My heart goes out to you," but look at the location of his hand. When you give something out, it's like this. You put the outstretched hand. When you put your hand like that, it's a salute. He just did a Nazi salute. That's a Nazi salute. You don't put out your heart with the back of your hand. He did a Nazi salute, and so he got kicked out of the church. But it's an example of how he was in a church, the Anglican Catholic Church, and they kicked him out because they recognized it was a Nazi salute. He tried to play it off like it wasn't. So that's the normalization of oh shit, you closed it. Why would you do that? All right. Okay. Normalization. Here's another example. This is an image of the FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia. And if you look, it doesn't work. Okay, if you look, they are painting over the words. They're covering up the words. What do the words say? The words say fairness, leadership, compassion, diversity, integrity, stability. I don't know what that means. What that is. Intentions or something? I'm not sure. Initiative, operativeness. Like all these values, right? These are the values that are supposed to be reflected in the being of the FBI, and it's being painted over to a gray. It's being painted over. They don't want a reflection of those values. That is the Trump administration, the Trump regime. They're Nazis. So, I want to give you an example of how Trump tries to screw things over. So there was a plane crash in New York at Ronald Reagan Airport, which is funny because Ronald Reagan is the guy who broke the air traffic controller union. So there was a plane crash there, and Army helicopter crashed into a passenger plane and it killed everybody. So the right wing what they did at first was put out a fake, false narrative on social media that the pilot was transgendered. That's the first thing they did in order to create a false narrative against their favorite scapegoat. But it turned out, actually, no, that wasn't the case. And then Donald Trump tried to blame DEI for what happened, which is, weird. So what happened? January 20th, Trump fires the head of the FAA director. I don't know what the FAA stands for. Okay. January 21st, Trump freezes all air traffic. Trump freezes all air traffic controller hiring. January 22nd, Trump disbands the Aviation Safety Advisory Committee. January 28th, Trump sends a buyout/retirement ransom letter to existing FAA employees. He sent out this letter saying, like, you can quit, like, if you quit now, I'll give you a severance. Because he's trying to destroy the federal government, you see. And then January 29th, first American mid-air collision in 16 years, 67 fatalities. So what does Donald Trump do? He signs an executive order blaming Joe Biden for what happened. Why? Because Donald Trump is a fascist. He's a fascist. He lies all the time, right? For him, the truth isn't important. It's only power. And he has the power. The fact that he thinks he can sign an executive order to change reality, the facts of reality, that shows you his delusion. How did he get power? Most Americans are stupid. So, Ken Klipperstein is a reporter, and he solicits leaks from people in sensitive places. And he received a letter, an anonymous letter, from a pilot, and the pilot says this. Oh no, it's the other one. Hi, Ken. I'm a pilot and received this email from an airport manager about an issue that had been a growing problem for years in the Bay Area and is now growing even worse. San Carlos Airport is an airport within 10 miles of San Francisco International Airport, and it will have no air traffic controllers starting on February 1st. The departure route for San Carlos directly overlaps the arrival path of San Francisco. San Carlos also hosts two of the area's largest flight schools. This means you now have a situation where inexperienced pilots will be departing into highly complex airspace, using solely their own judgment and reading of charts, so as to not collide with aircraft landing in San Francisco. This happened because the airport operates off an FAA contract for staffing controllers, rather than the FAA directly providing controllers. This system has always been tenuous. It was previously not uncommon for the contractor to only provide a single controller for all air traffic. There are recordings of YouTube of the tower needing to shut down because the controller had to use the bathroom and no one else was working. Now, a new contractor has underbid the existing and decided to remove cost of living adjustments for staff. All controllers have left, and the new controller plans to operate the airport with no controllers. This means the pilots need to coordinate with each other instead. I have been disturbed by the operation of contract towers ever since becoming a pilot. During the first Trump administration, I feared what privatization of all air traffic control would bring. After Trump posted about ATC being at fault in last night's mid-air collision in D.C. Oh, D.C., I thought it was New York. I'm concerned they will use this as a springboard to push for more private towers. I write this to you to say that this will bring more safety risks, and more people need to understand a real-life example of what chaos a contract tower can create when put in such a busy and complicated airspace. Thank you for your time. Sorry to bother you with an email, but the accident last night has been a tipping point, and I don't know how else to spread awareness. Yeah. This is the enshittification of the United States. Elon Musk is doing to America what he did to Twitter. If you recall, Elon Musk bought Twitter with the help of Saudis. they helped him pay for the $44 billion initial investment to buy Twitter. And then the first thing he did is he fired like half the people there and ran that place into the ground. Twitter is now worth like, I think 1/10 of the money it used to be worth. It's worth $4 billion, and he paid $44 billion for it. So he eliminated 90% of its value. Now, Twitter is rebranded as X, and only Nazis go on there. It's a Nazi board. That's it. All the other people left. It's only a Nazi board now. With his new power, Elon Musk, Nazi, the guy that just threw up the Nazi sign, is suing companies because they won't advertise on his Nazi platform. For real, for real. He's really doing it. He's really suing companies. He calls it a boycott. They're boycotting him. And he's saying that they organized a boycott against his company. And that's discrimination. Elon Musk is a fucking Nazi. And he's Trump's right-hand man. Or the shadow president. That's another way of looking at it. He's the shadow president, Elon Musk. We didn't vote for him, but he has power. So how can Donald Trump blame DEI right after the accident happened? What could he be doing? What is he doing? And you have to understand, he doesn't actually care about DEI. He probably doesn't even know what it is. All he knows is that it's a replacement for the word he really is using, the real word he's using. Now, you may think, oh yeah, you're just being stupid, Rob, Pogo Kiddo. No, dude, this happened. This is an old technique. There's a guy named Lee Atwater who worked for Reagan, who was Reagan's campaign manager. And he's the one who implemented the strategy to get Reagan elected. And this is the strategy that and he explained it in an interview. Lee Atwater said, "You start out in 1954 by saying N-word, N-word, N-word. By 1968, you can't say N-word. That hurts you. Backfires. So you say stuff like forced busing, states' rights, and all that stuff. And you're getting so abstract. Now you're talking about cutting taxes. And all these things we're talking about are totally economic things. And a byproduct of them is blacks get hurt worse than whites. We want to cut this. Is much more abstract than even busing thing. And a hell of a lot more abstract than N-word, N-word." Lee Atwater. So instead of saying states' rights or busing, say DEI or woke or critical race theory or affirmative action. Replace it with however you want. But what they're really doing is using racism. And they're coding language. They're coding language. They don't actually mean DEI. They mean the N-word. And it works, right? Racists absolutely hear it. And they respond. So I keep saying like Russia, 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 right? I keep focusing on Russia. But you have to understand, it's kind of the thing, right? They're a team. Transnational. Sarah Kendzior called it a transnational crime syndicate. They're criminals that work across country lines, national lines. They have the same idea. Putin is a big fat criminal. He's not legitimate. He never wins elections. They're all rigged. He's a criminal. So, and Donald Trump is also a criminal. And so these two have a working relationship. Remember, the Russians bailed out Donald Trump when he went bankrupt in the 80s. His casinos failed. He was bankrupt. And the only way he clawed his way back is by laundering money for the Russians. So there's this book that was written in Russia that the Russians love, right? This is very influential. This book is called Foundations of Geopolitics. And it's written from the Russian perspective about how Russia is to regain all its power that it lost. I'm going to go inside to be safe. So this is what the cover looks like. That's the cover. And then this is it in English. Right? This guy, Alexander Dugin, he's a Russian dude, and he wrote a book about how Russia was going to regain its power. And he gave a whole bunch of lists, but so if you want to look at real quick his ideas for how Russia was going to take power in Europe. Germany should be offered the de facto political dominance over most Protestant and Catholic states located within Central and Eastern Europe. Then Kaliningrad Oblast could be given back to Germany. The book uses the term Moscow-Berlin axis. France should be encouraged to form a bloc with Germany, so they both have a firm anti-Atlanticist tradition. The United Kingdom, merely described as an extraterritorial floating base of the United States, should be cut off for the European Union. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. The United Kingdom, the UK, voted to leave the EU against all sense, against all reason. They decided to vote to leave the EU, and what that did was it fucked them. It fucked them. Brexit has significantly impacted the UK economy, with estimates suggesting it has made the economy around 140 billion pounds smaller and resulted in nearly 2 million fewer jobs. Additionally, the long-term trade effects are projected to reduce trade by about 15% and GDP by approximately 5.5%. So this is the future of the United States. Donald Trump is doing this because he wants to create instability in the United States so that there will be a fire sale. All the assets of the United States get sold for very, very, very cheaply, and he and his criminal buddies can then buy them up on the cheap and then dismantle them and sell them further. So already in this book, already the conservative British people, because that's who did it, right? The people who wanted to leave the EU, the ones who are closest to the Russians, are conservatives. So they voted in order to, well, not, I don't think they wanted to, they knew that they were going to enact the Russian plan. I think they thought it was their own smart idea. But the conservatives of England broke England off of the rest of Europe and isolated it, and it's killing their economy. All right. Likewise, there was a plan. Russia had a plan for the Americas. Oh no, the Americas. No, that's Asia. Dugin envisions the fall of China because Russia hates China. Like everyone was all like, oh man, if Russia and China ever teamed up, they would rule the world. They will never team up. They hate each other. They fucking hate each other. There's no way they would ever team up. They both want to be the ruler. They both want to be the guy on top, and you can't be the guy on top if you're teaming up with your enemy. They hate each other. So this Russian dude envisions the fall of China. Because he's Russian, he hates China. The People's Republic of China represents an extreme geopolitical danger as an ideological enemy to the independent Russian Federation, must, to the maximum degree possible, be dismantled. So yeah, Russia hates China. Like, that's why everyone, like, That's why everyone saying that, oh, Russia and China are gonna team up. No, they hate each other. Russia should manipulate Japanese politics by offering the Kuril Islands to Japan and provoking anti-Americanism to be a friend of Japan. So in other words, right now I don't think there's peace between Russia and Japan because they're still at war. Russia invaded a bunch of little islands at the north of Hokkaido, and Japan wants them back, and Russia won't give them back. So yeah, they want to emphasize make America the scapegoat for everything. So Donald Trump, what I'm saying is Donald Trump is playing right into it. Look at the Russian plan for the Americas. In the Americas, United States and Canada, Russia should use its special services within the borders of the United States and Canada. Read spies. They should use their spies within the borders of the United States and Canada to fuel instability and separatism against neoliberal globalist Western hegemony, such as, for instance, provoke Afro-American racists, in other words, white supremacists. Provoke whites, they don't call them white supremacists, they call them Afro-American racists, to create severe backlash against the rotten political state of affairs in the current present-day system of the United States and Canada. Russia should introduce geopolitical disorder into internal American activity, encouraging all kinds of separatism, and ethnic, social, and racial conflicts, actively supporting all dissident movements, extremists, racists, and sectarian groups, thus destabilizing internal political processes in the United States. It would also make sense simultaneously to support isolationist tendencies in American politics. That's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. So if you remember, Russia should use its special services to create backlash. Do you remember when Tim Pool, it was found out that Tim Pool was being funded by the Russians? Tim Pool was getting paid $10,000 a fucking episode to create anti-Western propaganda, pro-Russian propaganda. And he did it. And who watches Tim Pool? Conservatives. The people who vote for Trump. That's what I'm saying, dude. Most Americans are stupid. Like, maybe if you could present this information to them, they might figure it out. But there's no room to do it. And number two, it's programmed into them to fight back against any conflicting information. They just won't accept it. I mean, we have, like, the internet, man. The internet gives you all the information you could ever want. And people end up, like, eating, like, getting the worst information from the worst sources. Like, they look for the cyber shit. And they eat the cyber shit instead of, like, the good stuff. I mean, it's all cyber, right? But, like... Like, you have the internet, you have all this information, and instead of getting the good information, you get the worst information you possibly can. So Donald Trump is going to introduce tariffs, right? Trump says the potential pain caused by tariffs worth the price that must be paid. Donald Trump is not going to suffer from, he's a billionaire. His billionaire friends, Elon Musk, they are not going to feel any pain whatsoever. Because they're billionaires. They're billionaires. They don't feel any pain. They have no economic pain. Like, do I have to go back and show you? I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back and show you. They're not going to feel any pain. Donald Trump is not going to feel any pain. right? We're down here. We're down here. We're the ones who are gonna suffer, right? We're the ones who are gonna like not feel good. Elon Musk. That's $100 billion. From here to there, that's $100 billion. Elon Musk has 4 of these. I thought 3, but it's 4 now. $400 billion. It's going to hurt. Tariffs are going to hurt us down here, right? Because we have nothing. Elon Musk, not going to feel a thing. Not a thing. Won't feel a thing. So, but he will get all the benefit. Because he has capital. He has all this free capital that he could use to buy up all the stuff for cheap. When the economy crashes. Because that's what they're doing. They're causing a crash. They're forcing a crash in the West. Like, you know, remember how Russia's economy is doing shit because of all the sanctions on them? Now the United States is putting sanctions on its own trading partners. Because Donald Trump is on Team Russia. Like, their whole point is to create problems so that they can buy things on the cheap. So, we know that ICE is starting to do raids again. So you have to know your rights with regards to ICE, because they're going to try to snatch you up. And you got to protect yourself, right? Now this is in English. I hope you can read it. Let me see if I can fix this so it's more legible for everyone. Right, you can pause it if you need to and zoom in or something. I don't know. I'm going to go down and show the second page. There's that page, right? Then there's this page. Okay, and then also it's in Spanish. So you can just like pause the video if you need to read it. Okay? I've heard already that the ICE is hitting our local neighborhood. And that some guy was arrested at his house. ICE came to his house to arrest him. So the secret police is out there. Like, I don't think every American was aware. I don't think every American who voted for Donald Trump or who didn't bother to vote, I don't think they're aware of all these things going on. They may not agree with it, but then they should have known that's what they were getting into when they signed up for it. There's Elon Musk, and then there's us down there. One block of Elon Musk, because he has 4 of these blocks, you know, not just one. He has 4. And then down there's us. Next to Elon Musk. One of Elon Musk. I'd have to make 4 more of them. And it would be huge. Elon Musk hacked the Treasury Department. Elon Musk staff has been caught installing hard drives inside the Office of Personnel Management, the Treasury Department, and the General Service Administration. His staff encountered resistance when demanding that Treasury officials grant access to systems managing the flow of more than $6 trillion annually to programs like Social Security and Medicare. Tensions escalated when Musk's aides were discovered at OPM accessing systems including a vast database known as the Enterprise Human Resource Integration, which contains sensitive information such as dates of birth, social security numbers, performance appraisals, home addresses, pay grades, and length of service of government employees. In response to employees speaking out, Musk's aides locked civil servants out of computer systems and offices, with reports of personal items being searched. So Musk is, I mean, basically it's a fascist coup. He's taking control of key systems. Musk. Like, he's a Nazi, right? You know who Musk is? The guy who threw a fucking Sig Heil at Trump's inauguration. That's who's doing it. Like, literal Nazis have taken over the government. I tried to warn you guys. I tried to warn them. Like if you already know, right? If you're a viewer who's been watching me for a while and you know, and you tried your, like, you are aware of Donald Trump and you try to talk to your people about it and stuff. I'm sorry. I'm not talking to you. I'm like ranting in frustration at like the 2/3 of Americans were too stupid to understand. Or who saw me try to explain it, who saw me try to do it, and then like ridiculed me. Like, you're not gonna understand until the material conditions destroy you. And then by then it's too late. What is that way over there? You see it? It like goes above the clouds and everything. I don't have enough rockets to make it. Oh yeah, I do. That's enough. How much? Yeah, let's do it. Let's go see what that is. You know what? I can like take this rail line. Do I have? Because it looks like it goes in the same direction. What is this rail line? What? I don't remember making it. I must have. Oh, it goes to the coast. See, I came here before I had distant horizons. Or I made this before I had distant horizons. Oh, it turns. To this village. Oh. How funny. Alright, well. The pillar that goes above the clouds. What is this? Ta-da! So I don't know what to do. People are saying organize, like, man, like, I don't even like going out in public. Like, the last time I tried to spread awareness, I got beat down. Not physically, but, well, I mean, in some instances they tried to, but yeah. No, I don't have... Not even by fascists, just by regular people. But that's the thing, right? Most people are stupid. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. I saw this from far away and came here. Put a torch here. Ta-da! All right, well, that'll do it for me, I guess. Like I'm kind of depressed because we're like history doesn't repeat, it rhymes, and Trump rhymes with Hitler. Trump also rhymes with McKinley. Hold on, let me look this up, right? Because I don't know personally myself. Okay. The McKinley Tariff of 1890 was a law that significantly raised import duties on foreign goods to protect American industries and workers from foreign competition, with average rates reaching nearly 50%. It was a controversial measure that led to increased prices for consumers and contributed to the Republican Party's losses in subsequent elections. That's why Donald Trump doesn't plan on having any more elections. Because he's gonna crash the economy, and it's gonna make everyone mad at the Republicans, but they won't have any more elections. Too bad, right? That's what you wanted. You wanted a dictator. Republicans wanted a dictator, and they're gonna get one. McKinley, yeah, dude. I mean, it's not, again, right? All this information is freely accessible. It's freely available. Just Americans choose the worst sources. They're like, oh, look, a steaming pile of shit. Let me eat it. I'm going to take this train line back. I need to make like a I need to make a mob farm so I can get more a mob farm in this world so I can get more gunpowder to make more rockets to fly around. And then I can make Elon Musk's thing in my world, in the latest world. That might be a better idea. I can make a bigger version of it. Ooh, look at that. See, I like this shader, man. This is rethinking voxels 6 point, or the beta 6. And yeah, it's a lot heavier. I will give you that, right? It's super heavy. But if you can run it, man, it runs so good. It's so nice. It's so nice. I want to hear the same song twice. Elon Musk. 1 billion. 2 billion. 3 billion. 4 billion. Right? He's got 400 billion. And then us humans, you can't even see him. We're so little tiny behind the trees. Like, you want me to give you a hopeful message, man. That's pretty hard. After I'd spent so long trying to tell you don't do this, and you go ahead and do it. And not, I mean, if you've been with me, then you've been with me. You understand my frustration. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the idiots who voted for Trump. Or who are too good to vote. Like my niece, too good to vote. Or just idiots, like my, like the rest of my family. Like my cousins, my sister. Like I look at them and I'm like, yeah, you guys are pretty dumb. No room to talk about it. There's just no room. We're gonna fall into fascism because there was no social room. I don't know what to do. Organize! I can barely leave the house. If I lose my job, I'll be leaving my house. And hating it. $100 billion. From there to there. $100 billion. And he has 4 of those. And now he controls the US Treasury. Yeah. Our pain, his gain. What can I tell you? I don't know. Fight! Resist! Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to, but I just don't know how. You know, I guess it's different for everyone. What that means is different for everyone. Look at the village I made these people. I literally made the village. Elon Musk's massive wealth versus us. I mean, really, if you really want to like do something, a general strike would do it. But I don't know if America could do that. I don't know if it's organized enough to do a general strike. The closest we had was the COVID shutdown, and they still made quote essential workers go into work and then not pay them, not pay them anything. Like, you're so important that you have to work even during a pandemic, but we're not going to pay you extra money, any hazard pay or anything. Like, man, it's fucked. It's fucked in every way possible. Alright, whatever. I'll talk to you next time. Peace. Pago Kiddo out. Stop.